You know, everyone's like, what are you gonna eat when you're out there? So what are you eating?
Good morning, North Carolina. Today I am having granola with some smoothie powder that's like chocolatey maca blend. Yeah.
Having overnight oats with coconut and pecans and strawberry breakfast essentials. Pretty good. You know, everyone's like, what are you gonna eat when you're out there? And it's actually not bad food. Like, I like this food. It's like pretty much what I eat at home other than dinner.
Your food is so intense though. It's like a culinary expert has hit the Talenti dry.
Not usually.
Usually.
No, because like last week, it was like breakfast oatmeal packets and water and like Carnation breakfast essentials. But this week, because I got my stuff from home, I could do like the bulk oatmeal, the bulk coconut, and the bulk pecans. I can do whatever I want. So don't normally do that.
That sounds so good. I have a hard time planning ahead for that kind of stuff though. So like when you get that and you get like in your box, is that like a week's worth? Do you get like a spoiled week every time you get your box?
Yeah. Because I had to send myself medication anyway. And like the permethrin to spray all my gear. So might as well get myself good food. And save money when you go like to a bulk store and get it in bulk. Except now I have like way more oatmeal than I ever will need.
That last like few days, like the crunch time of getting ready for that last few days was intense. Cause like I had everything, you know, and you make sure you get it all the weeks before, and then like, but you're putting it in like the week before. You're like, all right, I'm all ready, and then like 3 days before, you're like, ah, and then the day, like the night of, I was sitting on my floor still sewing stuff because I was like, well, I didn't realize that the shirt I had was, you know, out to here with extra slack.
Yeah.
So.
Like I was sewing like the night before that patch on my backpack. And I didn't realize that was going to be extremely difficult because that cloth like of my backpack is so dense. So it took me like an hour to sew on a patch. Yeah, it's like the last 20%. It just takes like forever.
Yeah. Those fine details.
Yeah. And then you forget little things. Like alcohol prep pads and your first aid kit.
The takeaway here, folks, is to never forget the alcohol prep pads.
I mean, I can't like, you know, really clean any wounds now. 'Cause I'm not gonna go to the store and buy another 20 pack of that.
Yeah.
The other day, I thought I lost my rain jacket. I was freaking out. But it was because I set up my camp in the dark and it like just fell out of my bag and like tumbled down like a little bit, like a foot away from camp. So I was packing everything up in my tent and I'm like, why is it not in here? I was trying to like rack my brain, think about where it could be. And then when I got out of my tent, I'm like, oh, it's right there. But I was like, oh no, it's supposed to rain. Like, how am I gonna, it was very stressful. It was fine.
I realized the spot where I stuff like my puffies in the front, they start to work their way out. So I'm like, I almost lost this yesterday because it was wrapped up in that baggie. And we had stopped, and like when I threw the bag down, I saw that it was coming out. I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I think maybe like another hour, I probably would have lost it.
Yours looks bigger than, like, fluffier than mine. Look how sad mine looks.
It's the same. Actually, I think yours looks puffier. Must be the angle. Because I'm looking, I can see all your baffles, but looking at mine, I can't see them.
Like when it came in the mail, I literally thought like there was something wrong with it. And I'm like, this is it? It's so thin. I walk outside and it's like 15 degrees and I'm like, this is doing nothing for me. But when I put it with like something else, it's totally fine.
I've been wearing this just around Jersey because I'm like, you know, it's still nice. And I want to wear it before I get it out here and it's all gross from the wilderness. So I've been wearing it and I'm like, we keep dropping back down into, like, we'll have a nice 64 and then we'll drop down into like 34 and sometimes 28 and the wind is just awful. And this has been doing great by itself, so I was like, all right, cool.
We're gonna keep like blinking awkwardly into the camera because of all the gnats like wincing in pain.
Why I keep looking at you? Because for some reason they're just congregating over here.
Probably because I smell. It took me like 3 days at first to like really get my own smell, but now I can get back in like 1 day. Just can't escape it.
Oh, your smell. That's a thing.
It's a stench with a capital S. Though I have to say I smell way better than the guys around me. Sometimes I can get a whiff of a male hiker and I'm like, holy crap. Oh! Like, man, they smell bad. But I think it's because I sweat more and stuff. How do people like hook up on the trail when them smelling so bad?
I have no idea. That's like a primal craving or something to just like block that out and be like, yeah, don't matter.
Don't matter. And nobody's their most attractive self out here. Like maybe when they take a shower, they're like somewhere in that realm.
Maybe that's what it is. Like you're walking with someone, they stink, they look nasty, and then you see them come out of the shower and they're all fresh. It's like they've been reborn. With that glow, and you're like, oh.
There was one hiker I was hiking with a while ago. And his hair was always like super greasy. And I was like, ooh. And then he took a shower and I didn't even recognize him. I was like, this is actually a good looking person. I didn't even notice. He was just so gross before. It's like, wow, his hair cannot be greasy.
It's all like beautiful, fluffy, flowing in the wind.
That's why I wear this, part of why I wear my bandana, just to cover up any greasiness. Not bandana.
Your buff?
My buff.
I was giving her time to correct it.
You're like, I will edit this later. I know a guy out here has a whole, like, hairbrush, like a wooden handle and everything. Like, he's got longer hair than me.
Oh.
He's like, yeah, this is my luxury item. And I, like, pull out my little brush that, like, flips out. You know, the kind that's, like, travel size that usually has a mirror on the other side? Well, the mirror broke off, like, years ago.
No.
But I still have the brush. And like, yeah, like same thing, like weighs way less.
So I went to the dollar store and I went and bought one of those brushes. I broke the mirror off myself and I bought my sunglasses and I bought like a couple other things from there that were just like little toiletry situations because they're so cheap.
Yeah, and light.
And terribly made. I was like, they're so lightweight.
Yeah.
And we're like, yes. And once again, Joy is ready before I am.
No, you're packed up before me.
You're gonna call me late start?
No.
Or on sale?
I feel like I'm always the last person to get ready.
Well, she got her jar in there now.
Shoved it in there.
Joy's packed up.
That has been breakfast.
Sit down. We gotta close this out. This concludes our very first morning podcast of Breakfast with Hikers, featuring Joy from Joyful on a Journey.
And Miranda from
the YouTube channel you're watching. Hopefully it doesn't rain all week. I just want a nice day.